Hey there, I hope you've been doing well. It's Keegan. I want to talk to you guys for like 30 seconds here at the very beginning to explain a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to jump right into the reading. I'll show you guys what I'm going to be focusing on, what I'm going to be asking, what the cards mean. But beginning with these readings, moving forward for the rest of 2021, I'm going to be offering extended readings beyond what I post for the general readings. And in the middle of this video, at some point, I'll insert a little explanation about what that means. There'll be no mid-roll ads. During this video, you'll just hang out with me for a little bit as I explain that. So let's go ahead and take a look just to get started on what I'm going to cover for the general reading here. I'm going to be taking a look at 8 different things here in a spread based on different aspects of the connection that you might have with this person. If you're not in a relationship with someone, you can still watch this if you'd like. You can view this as the person who's approaching you next. But this is a love reading, taking a look at an actual relationship here. So these are the things I'm going to be taking a look at. You can see them here on the screen. If you're not looking at the screen, you might want to take a look really quickly and just pause it. But what I'll do is I have 2 decks, and I'm going to basically go through and I'll pull a couple of cards from each of those decks and see what wants to come out. And then, as I mentioned, there will be an extended reading based on what happens in the general reading, and I'll jump in the middle of the video to talk to you guys more about what will be covered in that extended reading. Okay, Virgo, let's get into this reading for you. I'm just going to shuffle a little bit on camera for those who'd like to see the cards being shuffled. And then I'm just going to be pulling one card from each of these decks. I'm going to pull that card right off the top. And we will see what wants to come out for each of these areas that we're going to be tuning into today. Okay, so first things we're going to take a look at are what you bring to this relationship and then what the other person brings into the relationship. So again, I'm just going to go right off the top of these decks. I pulled 2 here. You know what? I pulled 2. We're gonna take them. Why not? It was meant to be. Okay, so what is it that you bring to this relationship, Virgo? We have the Queen of Cups coming out reversed with the 5 of Wands, which is up right here. So what is it that you're bringing in to the relationship? What is it that you are contributing? So let's talk about this Queen of Cups that's reversed. Now, you know, there are some things with the Queen of Cups when she's reversed that might not necessarily be the best things, right? So the Queen of Cups reversed can be perhaps maybe a little bit insecure or a little bit over needy, smothering, that type of energy, okay? But one of the things that I'm going to say here in terms of energetically what I'm picking up from this card is that your insecurities, your your tendency to kind of be a little bit tough on yourself, your tendency to be a little bit overly demanding, I'll put it that way, of yourself. It's something that this other person really appreciates. And let me clarify that. They wish you would not be this way, right? I think anyone who's really close to a Virgo and isn't another Virgo just always kind of wishes that you guys would be able to see how great you are and how successful you are and how much you push yourselves and how driven and focused you are. And observing from an outside when you're close to a Virgo, it's almost like you're constantly wanting to just, it feels like someone's being almost mean to a friend, but it's the person being that way with themselves. But you want to just be like, hey, you know, like knock it off. But for this person, they appreciate this about you because they understand with this 5 of Wands that no matter what you're up against, Virgo, no matter what's in your way, whatever you're dealing with, any sort of obstacles that you find yourself confronting, any issues or conflicts or problems that come up in life or specifically within this relationship, this person knows that they can trust that you're going to do everything that you can within that situation to try to make things be better, to try to fix things, because they see this in kind of everything that you do in terms of your work, your home, your friendships, your connections, your hobbies, your activities. They just see how hard you are on yourself to try to make sure that you're doing things well. And it gives them a sense of comfort in this relationship in regards to you because they know that, you'll do what you need to do and what you can do to try to make this relationship healthy, to make this relationship be something that's thriving. Now, again, they don't necessarily want you to continue to be like overly mean to yourself, but it's that level of your insecurities to this person are a sign that you're not overly in your ego, that you're not like full of yourself, right? Because you're almost like your harshest critic. And because of that, they see that they don't have to worry about when you mess up or when you make a mistake, you denying it or saying that, they're making it up. I feel like this person might have been in a relationship with someone before where just trying to get them to admit that they had messed up or made a mistake was next to impossible. And it's interesting because when they see you being so hard on yourself, even in situations where they know you shouldn't be that hard on yourself, it just gives them so much comfort that if they ever have to come to you and say, you hurt my feelings, or I was really disappointed when this happened, or whatever it is, they understand that you'll probably react even harsher yourself to it than what they feel. And so I want to be clear that it's not that they like that you're hard on yourself, but the fact that you are that way by default is giving them comfort based on what they've been through in the past. Now, what is it they're bringing in? What would they have to contribute here? So, Three of Swords coming out here reversed. Okay, so this represents what I was talking about, where I feel like they went through something with someone before, but they're in a place where they're healing from it. They're beginning the process of moving on, but they're still carrying that coming in with them. And then we have two other cards here. We have the Queen of Pentacles upright with Justice, and I like this combination quite a lot. Okay, because this feels to me like someone who they want things to just be fair and clear and stable. They want to focus on honesty. And they realize that in doing that, it allows them to be in a place where this relationship can be they're like a grounding force in this relationship. That Queen of Pentacles, it's interesting energy. I want to just focus in on it for just a little bit, because this person ultimately, and again, we're looking at what did they bring into the relationship. Okay, potentially they bring into this relationship the ability to turn it into something that would be very stable and committed. Like I'm getting from this card, this is the type of person who wants to have something long term. This is the type of person who wants to have a partner, wants to have a home, wants to potentially have kids. It's not that they're putting the pressure on that immediately. So don't freak out if this is a new relationship. It's not like they're just like, okay, let's do this. But they're open to it. They're so open to it. And I think that for those who will listen to this reading, I think that's something important for you to hear, either because it's important to you that you aren't wasting your time on people who don't want that, or potentially you've questioned whether this person would be open to something like that. So I just want to mention that energy coming through pretty loudly, is that this person is someone who the notion of settling down or being in something long-term doesn't scare them. In fact, it makes them feel really excited, and it's aligned to who they are as a person. But before they're willing to do that, before they're willing to engage in that, I do feel there's a little bit that they're bringing in, this baggage from an old relationship that it heals, it closes out because they find this comfort in you, that they can trust you. But there's still a little bit there that needs to clear out. And they also just need to know that they can be honest, that they can be, they can say what they need to say in terms of if something feels unfair or if something feels unbalanced. They need to know that they can say that and they can express it, and it won't be used against them, and that it'll be heard. I think in a past relationship, this person, anything that they mentioned in terms of being something that bothered them or hurt them or caused them to feel uncomfortable or make them feel unsafe, it was twisted in a way almost to judge them. And so not only did they not get, like their needs weren't met, but not only were their needs not met, they also continued to be mistreated in the way that they asked not to be. Right? So it's like they really went through something with someone in the past, and what they came out of that connection with is an unwillingness to ever be in a relationship that doesn't feel fair, that in a relationship that doesn't feel like it's two people who are trying to, ensure that the other person's needs are met. Communication is very important to this person, and all of those things that matter so much to them is what they're bringing into this relationship, because they're willing to do those things as well. This is not someone who is asking for more than they're willing to do. So all the things that I'm listing out in terms of what it is that they want, the reason I'm saying this is what they're bringing into the relationship is because that desire that they have for those things, and the fact that they hold those things to be so important: honesty, communication, hearing someone, trying to make the relationship better, working on something that's stable, working on something that's long-term. That's what they're constantly bringing in energetically into the relationship. And so if this is a connection that you want to potentially see go long-term, if this is a relationship that you want to see potentially turn into something more serious than it is, or you're wondering if that, the potential is there, it absolutely is with this person. Okay, so let's take a look and see what it is that you receive from the relationship. So we have the Eight of Cups here coming out reversed, and the Three of Coins, which is also reversed here. I'm going to start with this. Okay, so now again, let's talk about this a little bit, right? And I'm going to explain this because sometimes in these readings, people, they forget that I've forced meaning to these cards, right? So this is saying, what is it that you gain? What is it that you receive? So the implication there, right, is that it's a gift. What is the gift of this relationship for you? Now, sometimes the gift in a relationship could be for us just to, learn a hard lesson, right? So if energetically I feel that when I'm doing the reading, I'll state that. So for example, right, Three of Coins. The meaning of this card, right, is being on your own, not having a team, not having a support structure, being frustrated, being delayed, there being things that aren't finished, things that aren't resolved. Okay, I don't think you're going to gain that from this relationship based on what we just looked at, right? It doesn't make sense in terms of a reading to read this card based on the other cards around it and what I'm saying this is. So what are you going to learn here, right? You're going to learn to stop thinking that you don't have support, to stop trying to do everything on your own. This card is showing up as something that gets healed. You gain a partner, you gain support. So if you're watching tarot, even if you read tarot, it's important for you to know what the other reader is doing. If they've developed a spread and they've said, like, this is a gift, this is what's added, this is what you get, this is what you receive, then clearly, right, like, it's the lesson, it's the knowledge that you don't have to try to be everything to yourself all the time. You find support through this relationship with this person. So what about this Eight of Cups? Right? Eight of Cups represents being in a place where we're not quite sure what the future might hold, but we're closing out and learning from our past. We might not be fully moving on from it, but we're learning. We're in the process of learning and understanding from the past. So these two cards in combination is what I'm saying. You're learning that you don't have to be as hard on yourself. You don't have to be as in this on your own. You can trust and support. You can trust that you can get support from someone, and that person will actually show up and be supportive for you. This person, as I was saying, they will prove themselves to you. As soon as they see that they can be open, as soon as they see that they can communicate with you and it won't lead to them being like accused of something they don't mean, they can be honest with you and it won't be used against them. They can be honest with you and it won't be like twisted and turned into something they didn't mean. As soon as they see that, this person will go all in to prove to you that you can trust them. But ask yourself though, because sometimes, each sign has something that they tend to have is what I say, like the thing they do that's the worst for them. And it's usually something they do internal to themselves. Okay. So the harshness and that, how sometimes, Virgo, you can become very self-critical. You can become very mean to yourself. Some Virgos will even venture to the place where they hate themselves actively because they feel like they're constantly falling short of these really unrealistic expectations that they put on themselves. So because you have that in you in terms of yourself, sometimes that side of you can show up in your relationships. So someone saying, I feel like we don't spend enough time together. You can internalize that and start down that like rabbit hole of, oh, they think I suck and they think I don't care and they think that right? Like you can start in this whole thing of like being mean to yourself and not realize that you're projecting that outward onto this person, where this person is just saying, I love spending time with you so much and I want to be able to spend more time together. And I want to talk about how we can maybe make that happen. But instead, you've heard in your mind that you're failing, that you're not making them happy, they don't love you, and like you turn it, right? It goes into this like spiral. And they sense that. They sense that you're reacting very negatively to what they said. They don't know that it's going on just in terms of like you feeling things about yourself. From their perspective, they've said something to you and it's upset you to the point that you've changed how you are. You seem very upset. You seem stressed out. You seem angry. So you have to be mindful that you aren't doing that. That if you start to feel those things, you have to be able to communicate and say, you know what, just give me a couple of minutes because I'm making this be about me and how I'm failing or falling short. And I don't think that's what you mean. And I want to be able to talk to you about your needs, but I have to get out of my own spiral first. And then when I can do that, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's like a flock of geese flying by. And it's like 10:30 at night. I'm sorry, that totally threw me. Because I'm just sitting in a room by myself and it was very loud. If you didn't hear it, I hope the microphone picked that up. Okay, so you just be mindful, okay, of like communicating with this person and letting them know, I'm not mad at you and what you've asked. I'm going through my process of being mad at myself, and I just need to get myself out of that so we can talk about this, okay? That was just coming through very clearly to explain that. Now, for this other person, what is it that they're going to receive or gain from this connection with you? Okay, King of Cups coming out here with the Tower reversed. So again, this is a gift, right? So that Tower reversed as a card on its own is not necessarily that great because it means we're resisting something. We're not allowing something to fully end. We're holding on to something. We might have a fear of allowing things to change, okay? But you have to keep in mind, placement of this card, what is it they receive or gain? What other cards are with this? How's the reading been going so far, right? So far this reading's been pretty good. So what does this person gain? Right now, this person, if I looked at these two cards, I would say this is someone who is resisting allowing themselves to open up again to the potential of love. They're fighting against closing out what needs to be closed out to allow themselves to be in a place where they can really intensely connect with someone again. This might be someone who is actively fighting, feeling the emotions that they need to feel in order to have their emotions become balanced. This might be someone who's actively fighting what is a clear, intuitive psychic connection. They're not engaging with it, okay? The gift to this is that they stop, right? Because again, everything that we've seen here is this person, and again, like here's the thing, it's only if you manage to communicate, it's only if you manage to become aware of when you are getting into that energy of being mean to yourself and realizing that outwardly someone who's close to you is going to pick up on the energetic shift and wonder if they did something that made you get upset, if they did something to hurt you, right? So, but if you can communicate and the two of you can find a rhythm where this person can be honest about what is going on, what they need, you can break the habit of internalizing that to mean you've fallen short or failed them in some way. This person feels safe. They then open up. You have the King of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles representing this person over here. right? Oh my gosh, the ducks are back. The geese. I don't know if someone, because again, guys, it's late. It's like 10:30. So I don't know why there's like honking geese in the sky outside. So I don't know if someone listening to this video at some point, I don't know if geese or ducks, I'm not sure which it is, to be honest, but I don't know if those are important to you or meaningful in some way. But I'm just going to acknowledge them again because they came back. Sorry. All right. I need to get my energy just focused again, guys, because it's just weird with the animal sounds. So we're almost at 20 minutes. In most of these videos, around 20 minutes, or when I've gotten these first 4 cards out, I've been putting in a little insert explaining to you guys. I'm doing an extended reading beyond this. So I'm going to be looking at your secrets and fears, the common ground you have with this person, your perception of them, their perception of you. We're going to be covering all that still in the general reading. But then I'm going to do an extended reading, continuing looking at the energy between these two people. And I want to just let you know what I'm going to be taking a look at in the extended reading and how you can sign up. By far, I'll just say this here, the easiest way to sign up is there's a link in the description box of this video that says join the channel, and there's another one that says the extended reading for this reading is here. Clicking on either of those links will take you through the process. But I'm going to insert that here. I'm going to focus myself, get a drink of water. And then when you guys come back from that break, we'll finish this up, and hopefully the geese have gone away, because whoever needed to hear the geese, the double confirmation of geese or ducks, and if that was you, go leave a comment right now so I know for sure that that really happened. Okay, watch this. Hey guys, it's me. As promised, I'm jumping in here in the middle to talk to you guys for a little bit. This would be considered your mid-roll ad break, but please don't click away from me because I want to explain something to you guys. Even if you're not interested in the extended readings, you might be down the road when I post a general reading. So I just want you to know, if you're still here hanging out, I want you to know what's going on. So first of all, I just want to talk to you about the easiest way to get access to those. I'm going to have links that are in the description box below directly to the extended reading, as well as a link that will take you directly to the sign up page to become a member here on the channel. The extended readings are going to be members only, and the reason for that is because I wanted to shrink the number of people that I was tuning into for those extended readings. It allows me to go a little bit more in depth and get a little bit more specific, because instead of reading for thousands of people, I'm probably going to be reading for dozens or 100, right? So that's the purpose behind doing the extended readings. I also want to bridge the gap between the people who want a little bit more information than what I can do in the general readings, but maybe can't afford a personal reading with me, or they aren't comfortable doing a personal reading with me, and they want to get a little bit more of an explanation from the cards. So that's why I'm doing that. Now, I also want to let you guys know what I'm going to look at in that extended reading, so you can make up your mind about whether it's something that's interesting to you in terms of this reading, or if you want to wait and maybe join up the next time. What you can see here is I'm going to take a look at a few more things in terms of this relationship, this connection. We'll focus in on those. I'm going to use 2 decks again. I'll pull 2 cards, one from each deck, look at the energy of those things, and that's what we'll be taking a look at in the extended reading. Now, if you're not looking at the screen, you might want to take a look, because I have it listed here on the screen for you. But I just wanted to jump in and let you guys know exactly what was going on, and we're going to go right back into the general reading now. Okay, so thank you for watching that. For those of you who watched, if you just skipped ahead, you're at the right place. If you just skipped ahead, this is where I'm going to start reading again. So spot number 5, guys, this is where we're going to take a look at your secret fears or issues. And we're not going to take a look at the other person's secret fears or issues, because the fact of the matter is you can't do anything about that. You have the power to do something about your fears and your issues that might be having an impact on this relationship. But their stuff is theirs, and it's their work to do. And so we're just going to focus on what you can actually deal with. Okay. So the High Priestess is coming out here with the 4 of Cups upright. Okay. So Virgo, let's talk about this. 4 of Cups to me feels very much like your default energy. 4 of Cups for me is a place where we're disconnected in terms of energetically, our connections to people. We're disconnected a little bit because we've gone inside and we're trying to sort through why we're not engaged. Okay, I'm trying to explain the energy of this. But we're not engaged because we've pulled away to think about it. It's almost like an apathetic sort of cycle of energy where you go inward and you're thinking about things, but you're feeling a bit unfulfilled. And what's really happening here is you're unfulfilled because you're not engaging in what's actually there. You're thinking about what's there. So it's a very passive sort of it's a passive engagement with the reality of your life. The High Priestess coming through here is really speaking to me about your own intuition and your own ability to just trust yourself. I know I've said this in Virgo videos before. So for those of you who watch me regularly, you know that this is something I say to you guys. But Virgos, you have to stop thinking that you're not an intuitive sign because you're so wildly intuitive. Because you guys are constantly on this like hyper vigilant state of awareness of anything that could potentially go wrong, anything that could potentially like catch you off guard, anything that could come in and shock you. You don't want that. So you're always like hyper aware. And the way that you are usually like 9 times out of 10 able to kind of avert disaster before it happens, you think that it's because you run so many scenarios in your head and you try to like cross-analyze everything and think things through and contingency plans. But really it's like, it's your gut. When you think about something and you're like, okay, what could go wrong? Immediately, right? Like 10 things pop into your head that could go wrong. So you have a very innate ability to tune into worst case scenario situations. Because you are able to do that, you can also tune into best case scenario situations. Because you can do that, you can also tune into, is this someone to trust? Is this not someone to trust? Is it safe to open up? Is it not? Am I getting in my own way? What am I being led towards doing? But you limit your intuition to this like fail-safe doomsday preparation. Okay? So be mindful of that. Again, it's sort of what I was picking up on, right? Like you can't, if you want to make it work with this person, you can't be in a place of worrying that it's always going to fall apart. Because they almost need you to, they need you to seem confident in this relationship so that they know that it's safe too. Because if you seem like you don't think it's going to work, you seem like it's all going to fall apart, you seem like you don't trust them, like whatever, like if your fears start to get in the way, they'll perceive it. And then they're being like, oh, well, they don't even think this is going to work, so I'm not going to open up any more than I have, because they're already kind of like thinking this is going to fall apart. So you see what I mean? So let your intuition guide you, because your intuition is being kind of narrowly focused by the fears and the things that you play with in your mind that take you out of what's actually happening. Yes, this relationship could go wrong. Yes, this person could be lying. Yes, this person could be like, right? Like, fair. But they could be honest. It could go well. It's as equally possible until you see proof one way or the other. Right? So don't look for things that prove that the bad stuff is going to happen. Look for things that proves that it's okay and that things are still going well. So let's take a look here. This is the common ground, shared goals of the relationship. I'm going to put these just right in front of me, and then I'll put them over there once we see what they are. Ooh. Common vision, shared ground here. I like this. Okay. So we have the Magician coming out with the Death card, which is in reverse. So let's talk about the Death card first, because it's a little concerning that it's reversed here. This would mean that both of you are likely to be in a place where you will not allow something to change or transform. And I think you need to deal with that. I'm like trying to tune in to see if there's anything there other than that, and it's not. Both of you have a tendency to clam up and not speak your mind. And that's not good. this card is one of those things, I can't spin this card into a positive meaning, because energetically it's coming through so intensely as being something that's a bit of a negative here. You can't allow yourself to, in this situation where both people are likely to kind of avoid confrontation or avoid letting things shift and change if they need to. For whoever's listening to me, you have to be aware of this, and you have to work to shift this out. Okay, so I'm just going to put this card down because Magician. Okay, so keep in mind, High Priestess with Magician showing up one after another here. Okay, so I think this is a potentially good match if you can manage to listen to your intuition. Now, the Magician, I love this in terms of like common ground and shared goals, because this is about creating something that's abundant. This is about manifesting. Again, focusing on your intuition, but also focusing on clarity, building something, creating something that feels very stable and secure. The Magician looks at the resources available, what it is that he wants to create, how he wants things to be, and then he turns that vision, he manifests that into the reality of the situation. Okay, so there's a bit of a conflict here, and I think both of you, right, because it's looking at both of you, this is something that you can talk to this person about, because they'll understand, because it's showing up for you and for them, right? I know what I want things to look like. I know what I want things to be like. I have that vision. I know that I have the tools and the skills to make it be that. But very often I'm too scared to admit when something's wrong and let it change, let it be different. I get in my own way of manifesting. Both of you do this. And you really have to be able to communicate about that and hold each other accountable when you're in that situation. So we're going to take a look at your perception of them, their perception of you. Move these cards out of the way. Just knocked over my water bottle. Okay, what's your perception of them? So for them, you have the Three of Coins with the Eight of Swords coming out reversed here. So Virgo, with this person, you look at them and you really do. It's very interesting because where was it? Three of Coins here was reversed, right? And again, this was like, what is it that you gain? Remember, we had the whole conversation about what you gain from this relationship. Three of Coins coming out there. Well, it's very interesting that your perception of them is the Three of Coins upright. See how that works in terms of a reading? You see that this person is someone you can work with. This is someone who you could see yourself being with. You see that this person is someone who likes having a partner, someone who likes to collaborate, work together, share energies, merge energies, build something. This is the type of person that really sees that, you know, two people putting their energy and their efforts together towards something is very powerful. And you see that with this person. Now, also interestingly with this person, right, you have this Eight of Swords reversed. Now, let's talk about the Eight of Swords when it's upright, right? Because that's typically, this card's kind of illustrated this way. This looks a little bit more menacing than the Eight of Swords usually looks. Usually these swords are driven into the ground around the person. They're blindfolded. They seem like their hands are bound, but really, when you look at the card, they could walk out. There's enough room in between the swords for them to escape. And when it's upright, it represents kind of a mental imprisonment. So when it's reversed, this represents someone who's able to liberate themselves from being in their head. And you see this about this person. It's something that I think you don't fully understand how they do it. But this person can go through a lot. This person can mess up. This person can be hurt. This person can be mistreated. And they're able to not get trapped in their head about it. And those two things combined, it's really kind of like, you know, the first thing we look at in the extended is like, what was the initial pull? I think this is kind of giving us some insight to that already. Because you are really intrigued and curious about this person, Virgo. And you realize just there was something innate when you met them where you just perceived that they were someone you could trust, someone you could count on, someone you could depend on. So what's their perception of you? You have the Knight of Swords upright with the Two of Wands showing up reversed. Okay? So, this person sees that you are someone who is honest. They see that you are someone who is able to deal with a lot in terms of conflict or opposition. They also are really, they're very intrigued by your mind and how you think your way through things, especially when you're in a situation in which what you had hoped would happen doesn't. They perceive you as someone that they can trust to, and again, it's like it's not that they want you to do this all yourself, because again, like they are so collaborative, right? But they trust that you are someone that if things are going wrong, if something's happening in this connection, they know that you are someone who can use your mind. It's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? Where you look at something, you go, okay, what's everything that could go wrong? They see that in you, and that it colors so much how they perceive you. Because again, for you and me, right? Like often when I speak to Virgos and Virgos themselves, they're like, oh my gosh, why are we like this? Why are we so hard on ourselves? Why do we think about these things in this way? I sometimes lecture you guys, but for this person, it's comforting to them, and that's why I'm saying it colors so much of their perception of you, because it's not something they innately have. They kind of have a rosier outlook on things in terms of, oh yeah, things are really bad, but here's how things could get better. And their perception of you is almost like you're the opposite, where you're like, well yeah, things are really good, but here's how they could get really bad. And that opposition in terms of how you guys look at things and how you approach things, it's interesting, because their perception of you, it's not necessarily that you're negative, but their perception of you is that you see things so differently than they do, and they like that a lot. So that wraps up the general reading. If you are interested in joining me for the extended reading, then again, links in the description box below. By far the easiest way to navigate signing up to be able to access that. I'll put the link for the extended video also in the description box for this video, so you can just click through and watch it once you're signed up. There's also like a members tab. Once you become a member, if you go to my channel, you'll see members or membership or something like that at the top. That gives you access to videos as well. So thank you for hanging out with me, Virgos. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, probably around the end of the year, beginning of January, with videos taking a look at the mid-January energy. So if you're not joining me for the extended reading, you can see me again there, or I'll put some other videos up on the screen for other Virgo videos in case you want to just watch those. So again, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for those who sign up as members, and I'll see you guys the next time I see you.